Hey everybody, this is Andrew from the Guitarist podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Fuzz Imp FX. That first jam you just heard was two of their pedals, Creature, Fuzz, and the Echo Moon Delay. So you might be wondering, who is Fuzz Imp? Well, they're a one-man operation based out of Amity, Oregon. It's a project by Justus, who is a guy that's just obsessed with fuzz and Telecasters, which we will get to here in a second. So, the first thing I ever knew about Justus, he was not building pedals yet. It must have been 2019, early 2020. He was just a guy that was obsessed with fuzz. And he was doing a whole series where he was collecting as many fuzz pedals as he could. He was shooting them out. I think at one point he might have even plugged them all in together and done a video. He did like a big giveaway. That's kind of how he built his initial following. And then, I believe it was early 2020, during the pandemic, he launched his fuzz company. And that was their first lineup, was just a bunch of different fuzzes and overdrives. The Echo Moon is their only current delay offering, which this is, I think, one of my favorite delays ever. And I've had a lot of delay pedals over the years. In this video, we are not going to do a deep dive into each of the 4 pedals that he sent me. I will do individual videos later on. Those will come out in the next couple weeks. I just want to do an introduction to the brand for those that may not have heard about him. He's got some great fuzzes, overdrives. The Echo Moon is currently his only delay pedal that he offers. He doesn't have any reverbs or modulations yet, but we'll see what comes out in this year. So for those of you that don't know about Fuzz Imp, he also loves Telecasters, and he does these crazy parts caster builds. So for full transparency, I did not pay for any of these 4 pedals. This is not a sponsored video. He didn't endorse this video. He wasn't even aware that I was doing it until I messaged him earlier today. We did a straight across trade. So I sent him 2 of my Squier Telecasters for him to modify, and I'm interested to see what he's going to do with those. In exchange, he sent me these 4 pedals. So it was a cool little trade, and I hope everything works out on his end. I'm digging these pedals so far. So like I said, that first jam was the Creature with the Echo Moon. Echo Moon is a really great, straightforward delay. Has some wacky features you wouldn't really expect from your standard, like 3-knob delay. So you do have your time, repeat, and mix knobs, but you have this little switch right here. The toggle takes you between lo-fi and full. So the full mode gives you the full frequency spectrum of your signal, where lo-fi kind of cuts out some of that bass, accentuates the treble a little bit in the mid-range, and really does give you like a nice lo-fi delay. I mean, it's right there in the name. But what really makes this stand out is the boost feature. So it's a nice saturated preamp boost that you can add to your signal. So you get these really classic vintage sounding spacey delays out of this thing. It's really great. And then the Creature. This thing is really hard to tame. It is pretty crazy. He even says in his own demo video, don't set the knobs all straight up to noon. Like, if you do that, you're going to have these crazy self-oscillation sounds, and it sounds great. It's great for like noise rock, doom, stoner rock, shoegaze, but it's really interactive. All of these knobs interact with each other. So here are your controls: squish, clang, level, fuzz, and gate. So we'll get to those more in depth when I do the video on them. But the gate really helps tame the self-oscillation. Your squish will help you kind of dial in, when you do have the oscillation, help you dial in kind of like the frequency that it's oscillating at. And that's really cool. Then fuzz and clang, that's kind of your tone and your overall gain. And all 5 of these knobs interact together. And the middle one is your level. So they all kind of interact together. It's 2 fuzz circuits stacked on top of each other. So that's where you're getting that oscillation from. It's just a really cool, it can get anything from a sputtery Velcro fuzz to big muff territory. It's really cool, really versatile, a great pedal. Okay, so going into the second jam, we've still got the Echo Moon going. I've adjusted the settings a little bit. We're now in lo-fi mode for this jam. And we're bringing in the Shroot overdrive. So real quick, let's talk about the Shroot. So looks familiar, right? So that's Dwight Schrute from The Office. And the knobs are Bears, Beats, and Battlestar Galactica. So Bears is your volume, Beats is your gain, and Battlestar Galactica is your tone. So it's a take on the Tube Screamer, but not quite. You have the gain structure of a Tube Screamer for sure. Volume, just standard volume, but Battlestar Galactica is where this magic is in this pedal. So a regular Tube Screamer, all the way to the left, you're getting, accentuated bass. You're getting a high cut. And then, just like a standard overdrive, really, as you turn it up, you get more treble, less bass. Not with this pedal. You go from a lo-fi, kind of less of everything kind of thing towards the left. And as you turn it up, the more you get towards just fully maxed out, you're bringing in everything. The mids, the treble, the bass, you're just really pushing the whole spectrum. So I think this is just a really unique overdrive. And it sounds great. It's got, you can do anything from metal, classic rock, blues. It's in here. Paired with that Echo Moon on a lo-fi setting, we had some cool, classic rock, garage rock riffs. Going into our final jam, we have the Machina II. So this thing is a beast. It's heavy. It's got 7 knobs on it, 2 toggle switches, 2 foot switches. It's just massive. So you're probably thinking, oh, it's just a big muff or something that's super modified. Not really, but you can definitely get big muff sounds out of this thing. So much like the Creature that we talked about earlier, this is an expanded version of this little guy. So you have a lot of the same functionality. These knobs on this side, you have a volume and gain, a toggle switch that goes between silicone and germanium. Your chaos is your overdrive, so controls this half of the pedal. Now, the rest of the knobs, including the one in the center, which is your master volume, those all control the gate, which is your fuzz. So on this pedal, you have, just like you have on the overdrive side, you have germanium and silicone for your clipping. You have the squish, fuzz, gate, soak, and all of these kind of activate within one another. So depending on where you have the gate, you can trigger with the squish, much like the Creature. You could figure out exactly where your self-oscillation frequency is. But you could also just turn everything down. You could have the fuzz cranked, have the soak cranked, but turn the gate up to bleed out the oscillation. And you just get this really great, thick wall of sound fuzz. But just like the Creature, you can also dial it all back, bring in that oscillation, get some crazy, just, Sonic Youth kind of sound going. You can really use this for anything, from light overdrives to those all-out, like I said, wall of fuzz. I really like the overdrive side on its own. It's a nice preamp boost. Reminds me of a DoD 250 MXR Distortion Plus type circuit, which it's really cool to have that option of the 2 clipping modes, just as it is with the fuzz. You can get, again, those nice, crazy, sputtery Velcro fuzzes out of this. You get fuzz face. You could do a big muff. You can get a Proco rat out of this thing. You can almost do a fuzz factory, essentially, but even more expanded. This is just a really cool fuzz, and we're going to take it out on that last jam. Alright everybody, thanks for checking out the video on Fuzz Imp FX. Check him out at fuzzimp.com. Find him on social media. What else could I say? You know, his pedals are great. I really enjoy them. He's a great dude. If you want to check out his pedals, most of the compact single pedals are $150 or less. He runs specials on his website all the time. He has sales always going on. Reach out to him for a coupon code. He's really cool with that kind of stuff. Hey, if you got Telecasters you want to trade to him, I'm sure he'll take them. Your larger pedals, like the 2-in-1s, they're going to run you a little bit higher. This is his most expensive pedal right now, and it's $229. And that's a steal for what you can get out of this pedal. This is probably the only fuzz that you need. I mean, he's got some great ones. This is a great one. If you can't afford something this big or you don't have the space on your board for it, definitely go for the Creature. It's a great alternative because it is a less expanded version of this. This is, you know, the big brother to this guy. If you like the Shroot, he's got the Shroot II, which is a 2-in-1 version. He's got a few others. He's got the Sender 5, which is a great pedal as well. I had the Sender 3 a couple years back, and they're just great pedals. Like I said, you just get all sorts of fuzz tones from this thing especially. But for me, the star of the show is really that Echo Moon. I love a good delay, and with that one, depending on how you dial it in, you can get old school tape delay sounds out of it. You can get almost an oil can delay. You can get some cool slapbacks. You can have it oscillate and get some crazy lo-fi tones. They're just all great pedals. He's a great dude. I really recommend you check him out, fuzzimp.com. All right, we'll see you later. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe. You know, all the usual stuff. Leave us a comment on which one of these pedals was your favorite. Do you have any Fuzz Imp pedals? Which one is your favorite that you have? You know, just let's start a conversation in the comments. All right, we'll talk to you later.